Starting at the top left with an Adidas shirt today, it is the Protoss player without a team. In red we have
Genius
in the lead with the 1-0 in the best of 3.
The most unpredictable Protoss in the world. Never know what he's going to do. He might just defend your all-in. His opponent, the bottom right, he has killed many cats. He's from the team StarTale. He is...
StarTale Curious.
Okay, I didn't get the cat joke.
It's from the phrase that is in English. I don't have to have it in German. Curiosity killed the cat.
No, I didn't know that. Okay. I'm sorry.
It's fine.
These are these things that I don't get because I'm not a native
I took
speaker.
a shot in the dark there. I was like, maybe Keller knows. I'm like, he probably knows. And
I mean, I assume it must be something. It must be something. Maybe a TV show that I don't know because I didn't grow up in America. I didn't grow up in America, but yeah, I didn't know that. But okay, next time I'll know.
Now you'll know. Curiosity killed the cat.
Yeah. Okay.
So StarTale Curious Maze.
Noted.
He's got a bunch of cat tails actually in his bag. He keeps them with him when he goes to play the GSL.
I believe it. I mean, look at the guy.
He's a serial cat killer.
A serial cat killer.
You know, he's always got those stone cold expression on his face because he's going to go find a cat, one of these stray cats in the neighborhood.
Yeah, you're definitely right.
That one's always screaming in the night. He's like, oh, I got to take care of this.
Your turn. Tomorrow night. Well, Genius, let's just talk a little bit about him in this matchup just in general. Despite the fact that he usually starts with a Stargate, he has a 58 win % ratio with roughly 90 games played. The last opponents that he faced in this matchup were at the Iron Squid tournament. He 2-0'd Nurture. Lost to Gosu User though, without winning a single map because his opponent used a couple of sneaky strategies to take him down. That was a bit of a hiccup, but in general against Zerg these days he's doing pretty well. Took out Golden in the IGN Pro League. He was able to win against Hiva in Code A season. And on the other hand, of course, we have Curious, a really, really strong Zerg player who excels in ZVZ these days. Against Protoss, he has his weakest matchup with 57% win ratio, which is pretty much amazing, and considering on what level
the opponents he's playing against.
On what level his opponents usually play. He has played more than 110 televised matches in this matchup. He was successful against Tyr in the GSTL season. He took down Hero at the WCS Global Finals. Just barely lost to Titan in the same tournament. So if you just look at his statistics, he has a so-so ratio against Protoss just in the recent past, but in general, this is one of the matchup where he feels kind of comfortable.
He excels in the late game. We didn't get to see that last game because he chose not to go there.
Yeah, he tried to surprise Genius. He tried to show Genius a build or go with a build that would surprise him, but that didn't really work.
I think there's 2 gaps in this wall, by the way, and I think that's what Heaven's trying to show us right now. Is I'm pretty sure there's 2 gaps there, and that's going to be something that Genius, if he doesn't make another, like if he doesn't fill that gap with a cannon, which, I mean, I don't think he's going to do that. He's already made his cannon. I'm pretty sure that's a gap there. I'm absolutely sure, in fact. So that could be a problem later if we see any sort of speedling counterattacks.
Yep. The Queen already heading over to the 3rd base. So Curious is playing this a little bit more standard this game. We see him once again with the opening with the 3 bases, but I doubt that we see the early Roach one on Belcher Vestige. He took a shot in game 1. Didn't really work.
Nope. Robotics, though, is a good choice. He's actually having to play on 2 tough maps for Frost against Zerg, and so far so good. Game number 2, though, he may be able to just knock his opponent down with these Immortals. He could just take a 3rd, but on this map, I mean, let's be real for a second. Is that even reasonable? No, not really at all.
So currently at the bottom right, what do we have for Curious? Double gas at the natural now. Once again, is speed out there, and Genius starting this time with the robotics, as mentioned, and therefore Immortal push maybe. Could try to get into a 3rd base, but well, as mentioned, that's pretty tough to take or to hold on this map. At least can be. I don't know. I'm really more interested in what Genius is going to do than what Curious' plans are. Curious is trying, of course, to play safe now, but Genius with an Immortal push, I feel this is still one of the best choices that you have as a Protoss player on any map against the Zerg.
Yeah. I mean, parting has revolutionized the way it's done, but at the same time, Genius has shown Immortal pushes. Yeah, it's not his style. He likes to go Stargate, but he's shown Immortal pushes with his force fields that have given me ship. I'm so glad I don't play Zerg, because if I did, I'd probably have nightmares about it. And, you know, he's actually... On this map, you're taking a bit of a risk to go for the Immortal push, but I really actually strongly feel, and I can speak just frankly now for a second, I feel like you don't have very many other choices as a Protoss on this map, and that makes it a little bit predictable for Curious, who's already getting units out. He's ready. He's like, all right, 61 drones is all I want. I'm just going to power out roaches to defend it after that.
I actually agree with you. It's really tough to make anything else happen. And he is gearing up for it. He has the +1 attack upgrade now on the board and 6 additional gates. He really wants to go for this. And Curious is preparing. He has the creep spread that is really decent. I mean, it's not really excelling or anything like, oh my god, he covers the entire map in creep. But it's what he needs to see early when this push is coming to make sure that there are not a lot of places where he can put down the pylon. So if you want to go for the extra pylon in addition to the War Prism. So Curious is just playing a good, standard and very solid game and will try to delay this push now for as long as possible.
Yeah. And it's going to be really easy for Curious to slow this down with the army he already has. He's already all the way outside Genius' base before Genius even walked outside the door. So Genius is going to have to use Force Fields here. As soon as speed is done, Curious is going to run around. He's going to have to drop 4 Force Fields, maybe. And it turns out that's actually a tight wall.
Yeah, and he has to walk back. He's walking back.
It's not a tight wall anymore.
And trying to get in. There comes the force field, but those roaches are able to snipe a few of the zealots, and now the Zerglings can still do damage. And the force field blocks the path for Genius to get back into the base.
Yeah, he's taking out so many probes here. He actually goes in the main, which is smart because there's no cannon there. Genius has failed.
Yeah, Genius at this point is so much delayed. If he tries to push out now, Curious should be able to take this.
19 roaches about to pop out. Those alone should buy him enough time with the spine crawlers and roach speed coming out. Curious has already won this game. He's going to kill more probes here in Genius.
Don't call it too early. We've seen amazing micro and amazing force fields out of Genius and of Protoss in general.
And those units are not near the third. They're actually at the natural. That's a very good point.
The problem is really that he's losing too many harvesters. He is down to 25 and he just does not have the momentum.
He's got no production.
He can't... If he loses units, he can't replace them. That's the problem.
That's the best way to put it here. Spine Core is trying to move forward, and again, Genius' force fields are insane! But is it going to be enough? He actually takes out a lot of these roaches here.
The force fields are incredible, but he can't make a lot of units.
Yeah, he doesn't have money. He doesn't have an economy at all.
Well, he's trying. He's getting a few zealots and sentries, and now he's moving in again.
And roach speed isn't quite done yet. He's just being so patient here.
Yeah, and if Curious doesn't want to lose the third base, he needs to move in.
Genius takes this game, man.
It would be a little bit crazy. He is 50.
He's going to kill the hatchery.
He's 55 supply behind, and here we go. Here comes the engagement. The Zerglings run in. He doesn't try to use force fields against them, but here he goes again. Can he actually force his opponent out?
The force fields are perfect. He doesn't waste a single one. He only uses the one to block the main roach army. The rest of those units he doesn't care about.
He knows he cannot build too many units to replace them if he just suddenly runs out of force fields.
Oh my god. He's going to do such a good amount of damage. He blocks the roaches out in the back again. But once those roaches get in, Genius doesn't have enough, so he's got to make sure he uses his force field so properly here.
Genius has an amazing positioning in micro here. The force fields are exactly where they have to be, and the rest of the army he takes on with those Immortals. He plays an awesome game. If not for that run by, Curious would have no chance to hold this. None at all.
Now imagine if he hits faster with all these force fields. In this case, everything was stacked against him, and Genius just put force fields in the face of Curious's roaches, saying, I only need 3. Yeah, I could drop 7 like many other programmers, but I'm actually going to fight some of your roaches on one side where I have the advantage and then zone the rest of them out, save my energy, save all my sentries. He has 10 sentries still. He's probing up again a little bit, but Curious still has an advantage here, even though Genius was able to take a bad situation and make it a better one.
Curious killed so many harvesters. He took down 25, and that's something that it's so difficult to actually recover from. On the other hand, Genius with a lot of drone kills here, and this is really working for him. The problem is really that Curious has such a lead and is now just getting his third base again, and Genius lost the momentum that he had. He's trying to transition, and that's just something that on 2 bases is going to be very difficult for him to afford and pull through.
Yeah. Robotic support bait coming up for Genius. He's desperate. He knows he can't get a third base. He's down. He has half of his opponent's army supply. He has twice as good of a composition, but it's not going to last forever.
The thing is just like Curious now has the breathing room to get his tech up, to get the Infestation Pit and to go for Infestors. And Genius, even though he won every single engagement, just could not withstand the pressure of Curious.
Curious is going to go for an attack here. Well, at least he's poising to. He knows there's no third, so if he attacks here, it's a little bit overzealous, I feel, especially against the composition he's facing. This Immortal drop is going to do virtually nothing with all these Lings here. He could warp in some Zealots to help out, but it looks like he's not too interested in doing that.
It's just trying to do as much damage as possible. And well, 26 and 19 kills on those two Immortals, so you can really tell that these guys in the last battle did a lot. Well, if you are a smart Roach, you don't fight against two Immortals. If you are a Roach with a Suicide Wish, then you can go for it.
Yeah.
That's what we just saw.
No one would question you if you're trying to commit suicide by attacking the Immortals. Everyone's saying, well, you know, he couldn't have won that fight.
Yeah, that was the Edgar Roach. That was the Man in Black Roach. He lost his entire family. Will Smith just squished them beneath his heel, and that's why the Roach just didn't have any reason to live anymore.
Yeah, they were just fed up.
Yeah, it was like, no, it's over.
That Larva from the beginning, man, he wanted to be an Ultra, so he didn't want to be the Roach.
Yeah.
He was like, he's like, at least make me an Infestor. Come on, he's got so many Immortals in that army, and we saw what those Force Seals could do.
It's like, oh, dude, again, a Roach? Really?
Genius is holding on, man, for dear life, and he's got a very slim chance of victory, but he's been able to make the proper composition time and time again. His Colossi are out before the Infestors even. But he needs a third base, and that's something that Curious is going to continue to try to deny here. Is he just going to try to hit a timing now with his Colossi? I think he would rather just take a third base.
He doesn't have range. He has two Colossi, but no range.
Uh-oh, he's actually going to lose a lot of his units out in the front here. One Stalker.
I actually hope that he starts to engage, because then he will realize that he has no range now.
Yeah.
I think that was a conscious decision.
He should have realized it when he tried to attack over that cliff, because normally the Colossi would have been able to reach there.
I probably wouldn't realize this until I really see the beam.
Now he's going to engage here, and he's got to realize. But even without it, he's doing a good job against these Roaches. But this is not Curious's big problem. He's like, well, okay, I needed to make Infestors more anyways.
That trap was pretty cool. I mean, with his trap, he takes down every single Roach. He does a lot of damage. And now Curious suddenly trying to react with his fire. He was like, what? He got Colossi already. I need to do something against that.
Genius could walk across the map and try to counterattack. Oh, if he catches these Roaches, Curious better turn around so fast.
Yeah.
He can't lose both groups of Roaches then hope to hold a push.
And Curious does not get range. He just doesn't get it.
Yeah, I think he forgot. This is a big problem for him as far as the usefulness of his Colossi go against the Infestors. If he had range here, Genius might be able to take this game right now. Oh wow, so many stars for him. Genius is closing the distance in army supply. He's got a great composition. Imagine if he had range.
The supply gap in army supply is actually really small.
Yeah, it's almost the same. It's like 5 different right now.
And there are no Corruptors. There are only Infestors. I feel like that could actually do a lot more damage than Curious expects.
A good fungal so far, but he's going to need more than that. He's so lucky there's no range on these Colossi.
Yeah, and here they go, but they just don't care. Here comes the fungal, pinning them to the front. The Roaches are picking up at the wall at the top left, but still, Genius has some momentum going for him. It's a 50 supply lead for Curious, though.
The Lings are just not in a good position to do damage at all, and he pulls back the Colossi. Curious dropping in supply. The core is gone, though. He needs to warp in sentries in his main base. Genius does.
At the same time, Curious is losing a lot here, and he will also lose the Infestors if he isn't careful. The Spine Crawlers are gone, and now he's getting those 8 Corruptors. They will take down the Colossi, but still, the rest of the army is not really that strong. Let's look at the army supply, 77 against 102.
Genius tried to probe pull. He got some of his probes away, but I'm a little bit surprised he didn't just make sentries at the top of his ramp and buy time forever. Because now in a base trade scenario where drones are going to be around the map, it's going to be a lot harder for him to actually win.
He has 1,000 minerals. He can build another Nexus, so he can try to go for this. And, well,
what are these Zealots doing? Well, they're going to trade okay here, I guess, but
they're trying to go to the main army, though, and that's the right move. 77 army supply against 96. This game isn't over just yet. Curious still has a good lead, but, well,
it's just going to depend on how well he defends. He's got all of his units at the spines right now where they need to be. But his Infestors are missing here from this fight. And if he fights both armies like this, if Genius actually gets both armies in half position, because some of the units are stuck in the main, but the Force Field, he actually traps all of the Infestors in the main base with 1 sentry.
He
one
trapped
sentry,
them.
literally.
Brilliant. And now 1 Colossus down, the second one dies too, which also means that the Corruptors are useless.
Yeah,
there
the
are 3 of them
so
left.
useless, but at the same time, it makes the Infestors all the more useful themselves.
Guys, the army supply is 60 against 70 in favor of Curious. The difference in supply really results results in the amount of drones. Curious has 47 and Genius has only 4. 4 harvesters. That's all that he's got.
He's better keep them alive too, because he, for some reason, decided that using 2 sentries to buy time in his main base was not worth it.
There's no mining going on for Curious anymore, and Curious does not have the resources to build a hatch.
You're right. He needs to start long-distance mining ASAP.
This is actually becoming a really funny game. This could be won by Genius. He has a Warp Prism. That gives him a lot of mobility. There are 3 Corruptors though. He has to dodge the Corruptors.
He needs to keep his Observer away from this well. That wasn't smart. Genius is now being revealed, but he can make a Nexus.
And these units in the main base, they will die. With a good engagement.
All the drones are here too.
He waited a little bit too long without... he didn't wait too long, he went in too fast because he had to have his models with him.
Genius
but now he's
is
losing
pushing
that.
through, man. Those investors are out of energy. He needs to make sure he uses the Warp Prism to save those Immortals.
Double check the upgrades, please. What
The
do we
upgrades
have?
right now, 0-0 versus 1-1. Genius in the lead there. Needs to make sure he pulls these Zealots back. That was so close, he loses 1.
Yeah, pulls 1 back, tries to go in with the rest of his army. How much can those Roaches snipe? 1 more Zealot, that's it. Maybe the Stalker? No.
So here's what Curious has left. He has 6 Roaches, 3 Corruptors, and 9 Infestors with 4 Lings.
Army supply is 48 for Genius against 47 for Curious. Genius actually has an army supply lead now.
Yeah, but his opponent is mining, and that's why he has to attack. He can't wait.
Yep. And that's what he does. He moves down.
You know,
the
thing is-
Infestors are the biggest issue now.
And they're all on full energy.
Well, actually,
He doesn't have a lot of support for them, so it all comes down to the
Yeah.
Infested Terrans and the Fungals.
to tell you the truth, Wolf, I feel he can win this.
He can. Will he, though?
There's 6 Roaches. That's nothing if you have those Immortals. How many
can't believe
kills do the
Genius-
Immortals have? They must have been like 61, 44.
and
Oh my
33.
god.
I can't believe Genius waited for those Overlords to kill him, by the way. These probes are in the Warp Prism. He has to save them. He baits out some Infested energy here.
Yeah, just fall back. All the Infest energy. That's fine.
And he's actually going to go for it. The Immortals are at the front. They need a target on the Roaches. Now he's doing it.
Here we go, and those eggs are doing a lot of damage. He has to move back. He can't fight them. He cannot
He's
fight the
fumbled,
Infested
though.
Terrans.
And it's it. Genius is going to lose this one, unfortunately. He had a cool idea here, but...
Wolf, don't call that too early.
Well,
if those Infested
he
Terrans are
should
gone.
fight them, though. What is he doing?
If the Infested Terrans are gone and he moves in, these Infestors don't have energy. And there are 10 Infestors. And they are dead supply right now if he moves in right now. There's
actually
only
right.
1.
GG.
I think that was too early.
Well, the thing is, he's got 30 drones he can also fight with, but I don't know, man. I don't know. That's...
I think he still had a shot. I mean, it's easy to call for us, of course, because we can analyze the hell out of that unit counting station. We can count every single unit. We see the energy on every single Infestor. But yeah...
That was close, man.
If he dodges the last engagement a little bit better, but Infestors are strong and Genius, he knows that it was close.
That was pretty intense, man. Genius took a game that he should have had no chance in and almost won it.
I can tell you one thing. Marine King would have stayed in the game. You know it's true, don't laugh. I know it's true,
man. I can tell you another thing right now. Curious is probably about to wet his pants. He's so scared knowing that he had all of the cards in his hand. He saw a push coming and still was able to do nothing against Genius's Force Fields. And then even when he had all of everything in his favor as far as army supply went and the position of the game, Genius still almost came back and killed him.
That Ling run by in the main base, that killed him. When if he has the economy to warp in units at the fight, Genius takes it. Genius won every single engagement.
Absolutely
at the beginning, at least. But then he was too far behind.
Game 3 is on Cloud Kingdom. The map is loading now. Can Genius defeat the Gatekeeper? Curious, the king of Code A. Or Curious, is he going to take game number 3 on the momentum he's riding right now? Or is he too affected by Genius's skill and his force fields in this game? Only one player is advancing to Code S. Who's it going to be? The map is loaded. I don't even know what we're waiting for anymore, man. But we have the map loaded. It's ready. I'm ready. Are you ready, Caldor?
I'm definitely ready. Let's jump to the game, guys. GSL Code A with Caldor and Wolf. Game 3, Genius versus Curious.
Over the radio and back up in the raves again. We got the